Hey friends, if you're looking for quick tips to help you jumpstart your week, you are in the right place. I'm Laurie, host of the popular weekly podcast Organized Life, founder of Simply Be Organized, and every Monday I am here to bring you a quick organizing tip in under 15 minutes. All you have to do is click the subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening, and let's get started. Everybody, it's Laurie here from this Organized Life podcast, and welcome to our tip of the week episode. So, I wanted to talk to you today about something that is oftentimes a hot button for a lot of people. And that is a question that I get often, which is it worth it to sell my stuff? And this is always a kind of slippery slope because the Enneagram 8 in me, the tell it like it is, not feeling person, is often has the knee jerk reaction to just say, probably not, without taking people's emotions into consideration, also without taking a deep dive into what exactly people are looking to sell. So I figured, let me just put this episode out there to give you guys some perspective on a couple of different key areas. Reselling, first of all, I just want to start by saying is not my line of work. So when I got into this business 15 years ago, my goal was always to help people to simplify their lives, period, full stop. And oftentimes, what that required in order to simplify your life would be, in addition to adding in some healthy routines and boundaries and all that, would be to remove the things that are no longer serving you. That could be physical stuff. Oftentimes, it's physical stuff, and that's really how it started. But it's also that emotional baggage, the guilt, um, in addition to all the external calendar things, obligations that suck up our time and take us away and make our lives more complicated. And that's really been sort of the through line my entire career as a professional organizer. The bins and baskets were always the byproduct. They were kind of like the cherry on the sundae, but it was never what the root of the problem was, right? It was never kind of the core of why we were doing these things. But as I was building my business and working one on one with clients, and we were going through their physical stuff, oftentimes people get to a point, and it didn't matter. There wasn't necessarily one specific area. It could be their closet, it could be housewares, it could be a collection of sorts, whether that's baseball cards, whether that's china, whether that's beanie babies or precious moments or God knows what, right? It could be so many different things. It could be books. And people would stop as we were going through our decluttering and say, is it worth it to sell my stuff? Should we sell this? Because I teach this 4-pile method, right? So if you are new to our show or new to my teaching, it's really simple. I'm going to tell it to you right now. As we're going through the decluttering process, I do these 4 piles. Keep, which is means you're going to keep it and you're going to keep it in that spot. Donate, which means you're going to donate to either a charity or you're going to donate it to a school or a church or somebody that you know. It could be donating it to a friend. Third is going to be recycle, which means it's no longer um, salvageable. And again, there's multiple ways that we can recycle responsibly. And then the 4th pile is your relocate pile, which means you want to keep it in your house, but it doesn't need to live there. Like when I say there, I'm air quoting, like in that current spot. So maybe it needs to go into memorabilia, or maybe it needs to go into like a backup storage area, or maybe it needs to go somewhere else, right? Maybe you just didn't return it to its proper home. So those are your 4 piles. What I don't have is a sell pile. Now, there are people, I will put this disclaimer out, that choose to want to sell their goods. I am happy to, if I know somebody that specializes, and I do know personally a couple of people that do like high-end resale of like expensive furniture and like collectibles. I don't dabble in that at all. That is not my lane. So if somebody comes to me with this is really high end and I want to consign it or sell it, I will put them in touch with the people that I know. I know somebody at the Real Real. I have some furniture people. I've got some other resources that I will put them in touch with. But what I don't do is say, I'm going to put your stuff on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. And if you choose to do that, that's totally fine. But when people ask the question, is it worth it to sell my stuff? The reality is there's a very small selection in the grand scheme of things of goods and of goods that people have that really retain their value. Most of the things, and I'm generalizing people, okay? So again, if you've got a classic Versace something or other, or a Gucci purse or Louis Vuitton, or things that really, really hold their value, and you're like, I don't want this anymore, I want to sell it or consign it, by all means do it. What I tell people all the time is you have to look at what your time is worth to do it. If you are saying, I'm going to bring this to a consignment store, like let's just use a Louis Vuitton purse, right? And I'm not a purse person at all, but I know that they retail anywhere from like 2 to 4, probably even upwards $10,000. I have no idea. It's not my jam. But let's just say that you have something that you want to sell and you go to either a local consignment store or you contact somebody from like the Real Real or one of the other high end resellers. And they take it and they do the marketing of it. They take pictures, they do all the things, and you're literally just passing the torch to them. And then if it sells, you get a percentage of that and they're able to sell it for whatever decent amount is. And you want to then recoup that. Great. What happens more often than not is most people don't have the expensive Louis Vuitton purse. They've got something that's in decent condition that they bought that maybe cost them a couple $100. And they say, you know what? I spent a couple $100 on it. Can I resell it? And there are places, either local consignment stores that you can go to, or things like Poshmark or Bakari. And again, I'm not affiliated with any of these, so not endorsing any of them or not endorsing them either. I think they're fine. Or of course, there's things again like Facebook Marketplace and eBay and all that, where you can go and do the legwork yourself. You can go ahead and take your pictures, post it, and then try to sell it either locally or wherever. And if you want to do that, that is totally within your right. But what I find is most people, the time that they spend to do that and then take it and get it shipped and all the things is not worth their time. That is a decision that only you can make. But when people come to me as an expert organizer to come in and help them simplify their life, because remember, the decluttering your space is one phase in the simplifying your life, right? When we first started 100 years ago, the tagline on my website was organize your home, simplify your life. I made it up one day and it was our tagline for years. And it really was about the first step in simplifying your life was removing the physical things that were roadblocking you. And so if you are removing it kind of ish by holding on to it in this kind of purgatory state, we're not really waiting to see, is it selling, is it not selling? But then you're also adding in what I then call calendar clutter to take time out of your schedule to post it, market it, try to sell it, ship it, all the things. Is that really simplifying your life? And that's the question you need to ask yourself. So again, that is totally up to you. I will also tell you that many people, from a monetization standpoint, think their stuff is worth more than it is. I can't tell you how many people have said, I have this, my mom had this Beanie Baby collection going back to the 80s. And I was told it was worth a lot of money. And it really isn't. Or my mom collect Precious Moments or Dickens Village or any Spode, Christmas dinnerware. anything and everything, any type of a collection. And you could do a little bit of research yourself. And for many people, they kind of want to make sure they're not leaving money on the table. And I totally get that. If there's a way that you could potentially recoup some of that money, fine. But I often tell people that the money's gone. Like you've spent it. And if you can make peace with it and donate it, if it's in good shape and it's something that you can donate and somebody else can get life out of it, it's just a lot. It's a lot simpler. And again, going back to our original purpose and mission for doing this is about the simplicity. If it can simplify your life to say, you know what, I'm not using this, I'm taking this box or bag or whatever and of things and I'm donating them to somebody else who can breathe life into them, who might not be able to afford that for whatever reason, or they've fallen on hard times and whatever. I would rather be able to do that than try to make a few $100. That's me. If you are in a position where you need that money because that is going to help you put food on the table or pay your rent or whatever that is, that's why these places exist. So you have to really decide what the value is for you. Is it worth it for me? I will, again, my knee jerk reaction for most people, and again, we're not talking those high end, very luxury collections of things that do retain their value. Most things don't have that. And if you do have like a collectible baseball card collection, my advice is to seek out somebody who is a collector in that area to tell you and advise you, rather, not so much tell you, but advise you on what you could get, what the value would be. But remember what your goal was with this whole organizing, decluttering process. If the goal is to simplify your life, is selling it holding you back, or the attempt to sell it for a few bucks holding you back from reaching that goal of simplifying your life? So that's it, guys. Um, I I don't have an answer for you. Again, I'm here to try to help you find that freedom. That's what we do here, through myself, through our network of other professional organizers that are here to help you. And I think if you can come back to your why you're doing it in the first place, it should hopefully help you remove some of that guilt that you might feel, guilt of this cost a lot of money or somebody gave this to me. And knowing, again, if you can opt to give it and pay it forward to somebody who could really use it, that might be the value that this stuff is now bringing. So I hope you found this episode, this mini episode, I should say, useful. Our tip of the week are our mini episodes, or just kind of quick tips, food for thought, things to kind of jumpstart your week. And Thursdays are longer episodes. We've got a lot of great things going on. We've got our new Enneagram and Clutter workbook, guys. Just want to tell you that is out there now. We've spent years developing this framework, connecting the dots between our personality types and our relationship with clutter, and how different personality types kind of relate to clutter, and how we can have these prompts and communication starters. And we put it together in a way that is actually tangible for you. So it's a completely digital download. You can opt to print it out if you want, but we're going paperless on this. And it is really, really action packed, in the sense that it's not just um, like information to be like, oh, this is all theory. It's actually, what can I do? There are journal prompts, there's questions, there's conversation starters for you. So this is something, if you are curious about why certain people in your life are either control freaks when it comes to clutter and refuse to relinquish control, or maybe they are clutter blind and just walk past stuff and just don't have a care in the world. This might be a great tool. We designed this for you. This is what we designed it. We designed it for everyday people. to be able to sit there and say, hey, these are some situations that might be presenting themselves in my house. What are some solutions? What are some journal prompts? What are some ways that I can take a proactive approach instead of banging my head against the wall and screaming and yelling and getting frustrated? And so I believe it's $27. Gonna drop the link in the show notes. Make sure you check that out if you want. Super affordable, very, very actionable. And let us know, guys, what you think. And if you're a professional organizer, our Enneagram and Clutter Workbook is great because it's got tons and tons of prompts for you to be able to use with your clients. So it's not just for the person who might be struggling with clutter, it's good for people that are working with other people to try to understand them a little bit better and also have some language to be able to then say, hey, maybe we can approach things this way and kind of have a different perspective on how to help people live their most organized life. So that's it. Until next week, I will be back with another episode. Until then, I'm Laurie Palau. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please spread the love and share it with your friends. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure to click the subscribe button wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, please leave us a review so other people know that our show is worth the listen. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at This Organized Life Podcast. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can head on over to our website at simply the letter B like boy organized.com, which is filled with tons of resources, including free downloads, checklists, links to our amazing organizing partners, and all of our digital offerings. I'll see you next week for another episode of This Organized Life.